Welcome back, YouTube. This is the 9th episode of 7 Levels with Lionheart. I'm your host, Lion. Really excited to come to you guys today. I hope you guys all got a chance to watch the episode we released not last week, but the week before with Shine Patrol. There will be a link posted up there that you can go check it out. And I'm recording, after this one, I'm recording 2 more episodes that we got. So we got people to look forward to in the future. It's going to be great. I hope you guys all get a chance to listen to them. But the same thing I'll say, as always, I need your help to find the next person we're going to interview. These next 3 people, including this interview, are people that I don't know super personally well, but someone reached out and said, you should interview this person, they'd be good. And I was like, you know what? Sure, let's do it. Why not? So that helps me. I hope you guys can keep on doing that for me, and I really appreciate that. But without any further ado, welcome to 7 Levels. Yellowyugo. How you doing, man? Doing all right?
Doing swell. Thanks
man,
for having me.
So happy you're here. Hey, man, what do you like to go by? Yellowyugo or anything else?
Most people call me Yugo. A lot of the Americans will call me Yugs or Yugs. But yeah, either one, Yugs or Yugo.
Yugo or Yugs or Yugs. Okay, is that a Yu-Gi-Oh reference by any chance, or?
It is definitely not.
It's not. Okay.
A lot of people like to think so, but it's not at all.
It's good to clarify that early on. So okay, good. Well, welcome, Yugo. Go ahead and take a second. Tell us what you're all about. Tell us what your channel's like.
For sure, I play just Pokemon. I'm a Pokemon streamer and YouTuber. I do a lot of Let's Play kind of content over on my YouTube channel, where it's just like Nuzlocke or just like a slow burn vanilla style playthrough, which is conversation pieces, like a half an hour podcast with a little bit of gameplay behind it. And then same thing over on Twitch. I do a lot of shiny hunting, looking for the alternate pixeled Pokemon over on Twitch, and just a lot of conversation. I do a little bit of the full odds, the method hunts, a little bit of every generation. So all Pokemon here.
Awesome. Well, thank you very much. Very glad you're here. And I've caught in a couple of your streams. I will say you are the one. I don't know if you remember this. I came in a couple weeks ago. You were the one who told me what's up about radar hunting. And I'm currently trying to radar hunt on the new game. And I've been successful twice. And so right now there's a swarm of Belden on like Route 218 or something like that, but
worst one to do.
They're really hard, dude. They don't catch in the quick ball, and it's super annoying. So it's like, I don't know. But hopefully I can catch them. If not, whatever. Back to it. Well, I like to open up every one of these 7 levels with a little like personal question, just like just to get to know the creator a little bit more, a little icebreaker maybe. And sure. So something I've noticed about you in the time that I've gotten to know you is you seem to be a quiet and contained personality. Like you're not like a lot of these shiny reactions that you'll see are like explosive, or or just like a wild, and you can tell you're excited, but it's so captured within you. Well, is that like a personality trait of yours, you'd say?
I'd say so. I'm pretty quiet outside of streaming and all my video stuff. Like I just don't talk. I'll go to like a family function or whatever. I'm just like the quietest person in the room, but I'm just excited to be there. So I like to bring the sort of comfy vibe and the cozy vibe. People can come in, just relax. They don't have to chat if they don't want to. I'll just sit there and chat with people who are chatting, or bring up my own topics, and people can just relax. But then when the shiny pops, I'm obviously, there's been a couple that have really like broke me out of my chair and like I flipped out over, but I am genuinely excited. It's just, I'm just in my comfy, cozy, little world. So.
Makes sense. I like that. It's good to know, because it sometimes you can't help but wonder like who's acting, right? You can't help but wonder like who's put on the show. And so
yeah, sometimes it can get pretty wild.
Yeah, but so it's good to know that you're not pushing anything or holding anything back. You're just doing you, whatever it is in that moment. So it's good to know. Well, thank you for that. But we are here to play 7 levels. So I'm going to take a second to explain 7 levels for everybody. And basically 7 levels is this. idea I had a couple months ago that I think it's really hard for streamers to spend a whole lot of time on one subject because the nature of stream is like boom, boom, boom. You got to do the next thing. Got to new persons in the chat, new conversation. 40 different conversations. It's really hard to get deep at one time. So I think it's really important for streamers to have an outlet to be able to expound upon some things that they think about without being cut off by anything. And so out comes 7 levels, and the whole idea is that the questions are going to be pretty easy at the start, and they're going to get harder and harder as we go. But really, the only goal is for us to have a good conversation and for the viewers to have learned something about you. And that's about it. So with that being said, let's start 7 levels. You ready?
All right, let's get deep.
You go. Your number one question. Level 1. What is the best food combo with French fries?
Oh my gosh. Okay. So I tell everybody, okay, so people will come in and they're like, oh, I got a shiny, or I'm like, I need a nickname for a Pokemon, or I need a nickname for something. And I always say French fries. That's like my default answer for any sort of nickname. And so, yeah, like, I'm not even nickname. It's like, if somebody asks me a question, my joke first answer will just be French fries. So trying to find something that matches with French fries. Oh, are you talking condiment or like the actual meal?
The actual meal. So like,
Um,
is it like burger and fries, chicken and fries? I know up in
that's so,
Canada they have that. Was it the gravy and fries and cheese curds?
poutine. Oh, poutine. Oh, poutine is so good. You get the fries and then you put gravy and cheese curds on it. All melts. It's delicious. That's good, but I'd say fried chicken.
Fried chicken and French fries.
Oh yeah,
So
get
where's your
nice crispy
go-to
inside.
fried chicken and French fries?
Well, there's a couple mom and pop shops here that have been around since like I don't know the 70s, and they just have like the most perfect fryer oil. And even when you get the fries that go with the fried chicken, they always taste like the fries taste like fried chicken. So it's just like the most
Oh, nice.
perfect,
I like that.
greasy, delicious combo.
That sounds incredible. Um, okay, so as you're eating this perfect fried chicken fries meal, are you fries first, chicken first, or you like mix it up?
Mm. No, they're separate, and it's usually fries last.
Fries last.
Almost unless I'm driving. So like when you have like you go to like McDonald's or whatever, like a drive through,
Mhm.
and you get something for on the ride home after like being busy somewhere or something like that. I'll eat like the burger before I like even leave the parking lot, and then I'll just snack. I'll snack on the fries, or I'll snack on the fries on the way home. As soon as I park my car, I'll eat my burger or whatever. So if I'm at home or if I'm like relaxed, French fries last. But if I'm driving, French fries first.
Nice. Okay. So the answer is ma and pop home fried chicken. Kind of
Mm.
sounds great. Sounds delicious. I'm on a diet right now, so I can't have fried food, but I'm all of a sudden starving. So thanks for that. But um, okay, that's question one. Not too bad, right?
That's a pretty easy breezy question
Yeah.
one because I talk about food literally like all the time
Well,
in my stream, so it's like perfect.
I may or may not have seen you do the French fry thing, so that was kind of the
Oh, really?
inspiration. Yeah.
It's
So,
fun.
but all right, level 2. You go. What is your favorite moment of entertainment ever? Could be a movie, could be a video game
Oh my
cutscene.
gosh.
What's the best moment of entertainment?
This is hard because like I've been surrounded by entertainment my entire life. Like when I was younger, I was just stuck in front of the television, and now that I'm older, I'm playing a lot of video games. And I went to film school, so I know like a lot about movies, and I've just always been surrounded by entertainment. So it's really hard to like probably pinpoint the best moment in entertainment, I guess. Maybe the scene in Moulin Rouge when Nicole Kidman dies, and you see the pure heartbreak on Ewan McGregor's face, and it's just like it gives me serotonin to know that a person loved someone that much.
Wow.
So that's my answer right there.
That's a great pick. Do you watch that scene again, or do you just like hold
Oh,
on to it?
I've seen the movie like a gazillion times. Have you seen it?
Yeah.
Okay, okay,
I
cool.
haven't. I can't say that I've rewatched it. I've maybe seen it twice, and both of them were before 5 years ago, I would say. So
Oh snap! Okay,
yeah, it's been a while, but yeah, I like very artsy movies like that, like things that take things to a very uh, technical, like so much art is happening in the background that it's like hard to watch. You
exactly.
know what I mean? Like very Gatsby. I love Gatsby.
And that's what it is. It's Baz Luhrmann's director of both of those movies,
Oh
and
really?
they take like he takes this like real fantastical element to filmmaking where he'll throw so much at you to dazzle and gaze you, um, whilst he's telling a pretty darn good story. That's just his style.
Wow. What else did he do? Do you know off the top of your head? Anything else?
Uh,
It's okay if you're not. It's just I
nope,
thought that
nope.
was a crazy coincidence that I threw that out there.
Right,
So
but they do kind of have like the same like kind of similar, really out there arts just being smacked into your face kind of style.
yeah,
So
and
cool correlation
especially
there.
I would say like scenes that I like remember is like when like the art's like coming at you and like moving past the perspective, which I guess if the watcher's listening, it's like this, like things are coming and moving past the frame, and all of a sudden
Mhm.
like the focal point comes into perspective is like that's like what I picture. Like it's like when people dancing on the dance floor, or like Moulin Rouge has like a couple of scenes that have just like a lot of things coming at you pretty quickly, if I remember right, and then all of a
Oh,
sudden
big time, yeah.
and all of a sudden you see the thing you're supposed to see, and it's like kind of makes it really hones in on that point. um well, cool. I the great answer, man. I didn't know what to expect on that, and I loved it. So that is level 2. Good job, Hugo.
Phew. Woo, easy.
So 3, level 3, Hugo. What fantasy realm would you like to live in? Whether it could be an anime, it could be like movie, Marvel, DC. What realm would it
Okay,
be?
okay. Hmm. Tough question. Tough question. As soon as you said fantasy, I was like, wow, I just got invited to play my first few games of Dungeons and Dragons. And I was
Oh.
like, I do not like fantasy, like the fantasy genre. I don't like, knights and medieval times and dragons and spells and magic. It's like that's not my jam, but I'm trying it out just to try it out.
Yeah.
Um so I was like, wait, no, not fantasy. Uh I, oh, Pokemon World, of course. It has to be, you know?
See, okay, I appreciate that answer, and I think about that often. Like I'm often like, okay, yeah, like Pokemon would be so sick. My favorite Pokemon's Jolteon, and like Espeon, like all the evolutions. I just imagine like whichever ones I have could just be chilling in my room like right now. Like I imagine like
Mhm.
Espeon would be like curled up like right here chilling, and I don't know, Flareon's probably keeping my feet warm or something like that. But I think the $1 million question for Pokemon Universe being real is would you give up eating meat to live in the Pokemon world? Because you'd have to accept the fact that you're eating Pokemon a lot of the time.
Easy, easy.
You'd go vegetarian to
I
live in the
would, I
Pokemon
would,
world?
I'd go vegan to live in the Pokemon world for sure. Like, no animal byproduct, no Pokemon byproduct for sure. I would be there. Like, I feel like dipping into that universe, your life would be completely different if you had like been born into that kind of universe. I'd probably be much more fit. I might be going on adventures and
Mm,
taming these really intensely powered monsters.
right.
So I feel like life would be completely different, and it would be, yeah, I think it would be so much fun. So yeah, totally 100%. I give them meat.
I mean,
Uh,
even co-training with like the smallest of Pokemon is probably really intense because like if you get hit with like a tackle by Zigzagoon, you're like it's probably not gonna feel great. You know what I mean?
Oh,
And
yeah.
wrestling those things to try to like help them level up and stuff like that is probably not easy. But okay, then which region would you want to be a part of?
Alola.
Oh, really?
Generation
Nice.
7 Sun and Moon, Alola. I live for the heat. I'm up in Canada. It's very, very, very cold here a lot of the time. And whenever I get to go vacation, Mexico or, somewhere warm or tropical, it's like the time of my life. So I can only imagine how amazing life would be just chilling on an island, taming up some Pokemon.
That would be sick. Yeah. I think I'd have to pick Johto. I like Johto. I think the
Johto's pretty. Johto's like a very close second, I think, for
yeah.
sure.
Um well, awesome, man. Yeah, I really wondered. I felt like you would land on Pokemon, but just because like it's such a yeah, it's so convenient to land on because it's just like it just seems so great. It doesn't seem like there's a whole lot of drawbacks, but
True, and I think it's just like I'm so surrounded by it. Most people don't see past my Pokemon. Most people just see me at face value as something to do with Pokemon.
yeah.
Where I feel like I have like a lot of interest in a bunch of other things, but you know, Pokemon is just like the face.
Did you go see Detective Pikachu?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
How'd you?
Opening night.
Yeah, me too. Me too. It was on my birthday, so it's pretty cool. And
Ooh,
I still have my 3 packs, the Detective Pikachu Pokemon. I haven't opened them.
you haven't
Um,
opened them? Whoa.
no, I haven't opened them, so I'm saving it for something special. But uh, how did you feel about that immersion of them bringing CGI Pokemon into this real world actors and stuff like that?
With knowing the background of the artists that they had worked with to design the Pokemon, and kind of knowing what they look like ahead of time, I guess I just didn't get as fully immersed. Like with most movies, I don't feel like I get fully immersed into like what the whole world behind it because you know the back knowledge of film school like knocks at your brain when a certain scene will pop up and it'll tell you, oh, that's fake, that's not that doesn't have continuity with that thing, and it'll just point little small things out, so I don't get fully, unless it's like really good and like you're zeroed right into it. I don't feel like I get fully immersed into it, but I feel like with the younger Pokemon fans, it gets them imagining being in a Pokemon world
Mm.
easier. And so making that accessible to a young person with a short attention span nowadays, and I feel like maybe a little bit less creative or less imaginative, definitely helps them into the door of imagining the Pokemon world.
Mm. See, I haven't rewatched it. Have you rewatched it since?
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
I'm
4 or 5.
I wonder what would happen if yeah to rewatch it to see because I think I was like so excited that night, right? Like I was like I'm an adult going into this movie theater so excited about Pokemon, and that I would have let anything slide in that film, right? Like I would have let
Yeah,
anything like get past me, but now like not I'm like not removed, but like past that initial excitement, I wonder how it would hold up. So speaking of filmography and stuff like that. Is that the proper term, filmography? Like, so you like setting up and shooting scenes for things. Is that correct? Is that like you
yeah, like film production.
film production? Okay, so there was a music video on your YouTube. Did you shoot that?
Mhm. I Depends on which one it was because I got a couple. Um,
Pull it back up. It was from 9 years ago, and it was a guy in a guitar singing about if I was an airplane or if I was a jet.
yes, I shot the whole thing and edited the whole thing. Yeah.
Awesome, man. That's pretty awesome. Was that for a project or anything?
No, that was just like a friend of a friend. I told them I was in film school and they wanted to do a small music video. And I was like, deal. Let's just shoot one day. And he chose a song. I grabbed a camera and a tripod and I went down to meet him, and we just shot around for the day.
That's a really awesome, just like skill to have. I bet you, uh, you're that you're that skill that just like hardly anyone knows how to do it, but but since you know how to do it, it just comes in so much handy. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So,
it's a very nice $75,000 skill.
where did do you mind if I ask where you went to school?
I went to the Vancouver Film School, so right on the coast of Canada on the west side.
Interesting. Okay. Do you have film aspirations outside of stream? Or
Not anymore, no.
oh, what happened?
Um, well, I worked on a bunch of television shows and movies, and it was like right towards the end of the school year because it was just a 1 year straight shot. You learn as much as you can learn, and you get your diploma and everything. Um, so towards the end of the year and a little bit after film school, I worked on the Metallica movie Through the Never,
Wow.
like Supernatural, and a couple other TV shows. And the whole time when you're in film school, there's like this magic to it. You're making these small little projects. You're working and collaborating with all these people who do different jobs to make this small little story spark up, and you get to capture it the way you want to capture it. When you jump onto a really big budget movie set, when you're at the bottom, or even if you're working for up to 10 years, possibly, it's just a job to a lot of people.
Mm.
The magic is just completely gone. I worked on a job and I stood like I guess a mile, I guess like I don't know, like roughly a mile away from the set outside for 12 hours making sure nobody messed with a cable that was going from the set to the generator. It was on the side of the road. And the whole night all I had to do was sit there and just make sure nobody messed with the cable. No homeless people came by to unplug it, or some weird person just come by and puncture it or something. So the whole night I just had to listen. I listened to the intercom and just listening to people giving out commands and stuff like that, and it was just not magical in any way, shape, or form. People
Oh
were
man.
yelling at each other, and it was just, oh, I can't wait to get off. Just gonna go get a drink, and it just sounds like a regular job.
Mm.
So that completely broke and shattered the glass of the whole movie magic idea. And so thinking about it afterwards, is like I've always wanted to do YouTube. I've had a YouTube channel since YouTube has existed, like 2006. Let's just make YouTube videos and see where that takes me.
Mm. Wow. So do you like what do you think it takes for these super renowned directors and producers to like surely they have like maintained that magic in the process? Like do you think
Hmm.
that's true or do you
Like
think they're just like
yeah,
everyone else?
for sure. Like the top of the top. They have like
Scorsese
a
and
lot of,
stuff.
yeah, they get a lot of creative license because they've been at it for extremely long time. You notice a lot of these people, they got gray hairs. They've been in the business a very long time, and it's confidence. You're extremely confident in your brilliance. You have to have that natural brilliance in understanding how to tell a story in a very specific and very creative way, um, and be confident with it. And as soon as you're confident with it, people will recognize and you get pushed forward. I know there's like right when I was ending school, there was a bunch of Hollywood big budget places that would hire these indie directors who've only directed one movie, or nothing that's anywhere close to $1 million budgets, and they gave them movies like Jurassic World Evolution. They gave them Kong, King of the Monsters, and stuff like that. But that's just because I feel like they showed their storytelling skills, and they were also looking for like younger, fresh talent and stuff like that. So I think it's a little bit of a combination of that, combination of um, understanding your own, understanding you being able to tell a story proficiently and creatively, and being extremely confident about it.
Wow. That is really awesome. Um, this it's like really awesome to hear because well like you said like people I think people dream about the entertainment business. You know what I mean? I think
Hmm.
everyone probably in the back of their head wonders if they could be, the next person to create the next piece of worldwide respected art. You know what I mean? Whether it's acting
Exactly.
or producing or writing or filming. You know what I mean? Because I think there's a new trend that's been like super uh, popular lately. Maybe you can confirm or deny this. I don't know. But my roommate's a huge film buff and media buff in general. It says that like there's a couple of Netflix productions that are doing like 10-minute long one cuts, like one take, or like
Mm.
one long like awesome piece of drama. So you got one camera that's supposed to film this whole thing, kind of thing. Um, and I think I don't know, like, can you confirm is that like actually pretty hard to
Yeah,
do and stuff like that?
yeah, that's extremely hard to do. It's a lot of choreography, but it's actually not one shot. They trick it so that it does look like it's one shot. A lot of the older films that used to do like a whole one shot type of thing, they had to like really choreograph every single person doing every single little thing. The camera was set on the track, and they made sure that none of the light stands or any of like the other crew people were seen in the shot. But it became popularized by 1917 war movie, World War One, where it was one shot the entire film. 2 hour
What?
long war movie with choreographed explosions and gunfights and death scenes and airplane crashes, all done within one shot. So that was like a super and it went over really well. It was directed by Sam Mendes, who directed the 007 and a bunch of other really cool films. It went over really well. So I can imagine a lot of people trying to emulate how that looks and feels, because there's a lot of excitement in knowing that it's not like modern pop culture or like the internet, where everything's like cut, 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 cut,
Mm.
so that you keep attention. Um, so, yes. That's the question. Yes. I think it is pretty popular.
Wow, that's really awesome. You know so much about this world that is relatively unknown to so many people. But congratulations, Yugo. That is level 3. How you feeling so far?
Wow, that was a long level 3.
That I loved it though. That is what we're here for. Because that the question was what fantasy realm would you live in, and now here we are talking about something completely different. Which that
Totally.
is the nature of 7 levels. So that is we are following suit. So well, Hugo, this is level 4, and if you answer this is like your halfway point. But basically, you have 3 more questions after this, and like I've said, around level 4, things start getting a little bit deeper. Just right off the bat, not really a shallow upfront thing. It's a deep upfront. So, um,
Gotcha.
Hugo, level 4. What is the hardest decision you've ever had to make?
Mm. Mm. This was okay. So it was something we talked about before we did before we jumped in. We could talk about it because it's relevant and important. But I was going to get married, and my decision to call that off, I think, completely saved my life. It was a super hard decision, because obviously you're going to go in thinking, that's the rest of your life, and you're committed to doing this, and you're so deep in love with this person. Uh, that was probably one of the hardest things I ever did in my life. But now that it's done, it's probably the easiest decision I ever made.
Hmm, interesting.
Mhm.
Okay, so how did you know the gravity of that decision, the weight of it?
Well, because I think maybe in the past, uh, my parents split up when I was about like 3, and I was so determined to like keep a full on marriage going. I knew that when it was going to happen, it was just going to happen for forever, because I don't want to have to deal with that. I think that was rather naive of a young romantic to think about. But I knew that it was either going to be for the long haul. You work out everything you need to work out, or you you cut it loose, and you try to work on yourself from there. Um, yeah.
Hmm. So you mentioned your parents. The divorce rate is, I think it's over in America. I know it's over 50%. The last time I've researched it, I haven't researched it in a while. But oh,
Mhm.
what age did that happen for you?
So I was 3. That would have been almost 30 years ago. I'm 32.
Wow. So
Yeah,
you probably don't remember pre-divorce then.
not really at all. I remember going to talk to a doctor, to talk about like custody stuff, but I didn't know that's what it was at the time. I remember talking to the doctor, but other than that, I don't remember the split up at all, really.
Hmm. Um, Man, so yeah, I can only imagine the like. So do I understand you right? Like you, that decision that they made reinforced the decision, like I'm gonna do this for good. And
Yeah,
so, um, do you ever feel like that's a like a hopeless romantic approach? Like
that's exactly it. It's a hopeless romantic approach to love. I mean, you have to think about on both parties. It's got to be healthy, right? You can go into a marriage and you can commit. And there's someone using a leaf blower right now
is
because
that
it's
what it
just snowed.
is?
Yeah, can you hear that?
Yeah. Well, it's picking up only the highest frequencies, so it kind of, I was like, is that an ice cream truck? I don't know, but
Yeah,
it's
no.
you can barely hear it, so it's okay. No
Okay,
worries.
yeah, it's snowing. It's snowing. So,
Okay.
what was I saying? Yeah, you got to think about both parties, and they both got to be happy. And there's compromises you can make to make things work, and there's things that you can work out to make it work. But you have to ultimately realize it's got to work for both people.
Mm.
So I can understand why the divorce rate is so high. You have that veiled sense of young romance at the beginning of a relationship, whether it doesn't matter what your age is. You have that veiled sense of romance at the beginning of a relationship, thinking it's going to be, everything and anything and everything. Um, so you just got to like really come to your senses when understanding that that doesn't work out.
Yeah, so I got some questions. And what are some proactive decisions that you make now to help avoid that situation you were in, and also your parents' situation? So what are maybe imagine you were giving advice to a teenager in chat. Like, what is a proactive decision that they could do early on that would help them avoid tough situations like that?
Just practicing open and honest conversations with literally anybody in your life. I think anyone that you're close to that you care about is practicing an open and honest conversation. Try not to get immediately offended by something that they say that might trigger you. They're saying in honesty, and it's not to cause conflict all the time, but it is to get a better understanding of how they're feeling. So that's definitely number one, having open and honest conversations to people you care about.
That's great advice. I don't know about you, but I know from a long time I would do or say anything to sway the person I was interested in, and led to some real toxic um, thoughts in my own mind, right, of my own self
Mhm.
worth and my own um, just value. And I think there's a really important need for people to be hopeless romantics, but I think uh, as a teenager, I had no idea what the truth was behind that.
Exactly.
I thought it was this. I thought it was this like die hard, um, you know, like I basically friend zoned myself, like
Yeah.
relentlessly. Like, dude, I was in friend zone for like forever, and I think I thought that's what it meant to be hopeless romantic, was chasing. When it's more like I was like that, the the Einstein quote or whatever, insanity, doing the same thing over and over again, thinking it's going to change or whatever.
Mhm.
Um,
Yeah, it works for shiny hunting. So I mean,
but there's a chance in shiny hunting. There's no chance in friend zone.
true.
uh, but um, yeah, man, that's super super interesting. Oh, what do you think? So you plan to be married one day, right? Is that your you have that in your future now? Or not like you are currently planning, but it's still a goal for you?
Oh yeah, for sure, for sure.
Yeah.
I love the idea of marriage, so it's still definitely
Mhm.
in my brain. Um, I just I think I need to understand myself a little bit better and
Mm,
uh, understanding how to understand other people better.
yeah.
That's like been a huge issue in my life is uh, and I've talked about a lot lately is, and that's a troublesome thing with streaming too, is getting what people are saying to you and processing it properly, um, and deriving something from that and understanding what they're saying. I don't know why, but I have like a really troublesome time with that.
You know what? I have noticed that that is a crazy defining factor in a lot of streamers. Um, I don't read chat out loud immediately. I will like let it sit for like 10 seconds or 15 seconds and let it hang out. And it drives like like if my roommates come in and they're looking at chat, they'll read it out loud before I do because it drives them nuts. And eventually I've talked to them on stream stuff like, no, you don't understand. Like I'm processing. Like I'm thinking about like I read it, I see that they put it there, but I don't want to train chat to like have rapid fire conversation with me. I want to have
Right.
like some like meaningful things, and so I want to make sure I'm always understanding like what's happening. And then I think I've often caught a couple like I've been lurking in chats and see a streamer that is doing the rapid fire thing. Like let me just like, oh hey, what's up, man? What's going on? Yeah, like as fast as they can, and then they like respond to something and receives like you said receive something that was the wrong way in chat, and then
Mhm.
like kind of like realize it like 45 seconds later, like you can see them, it's catching up to them in their mind, you know what I mean? So like I really
Yeah.
respect that about you, that you're like you're gonna like really make sure you have received it before
Mhm.
you decide what to say. You don't want to like auto trigger anything, but
But it just sometimes it trips you up too because you're sitting there and you're reading through chat and it's something interesting and something you really want to start talking about. You dig into it a little bit and you let the rest of the chat pile up for a little bit while you're trying to think about the right thing, or not the right thing, but like what you want to say to that thing. And then you see the rest of the chat just piling up and you got to start scrolling and then you get lost and you start missing messages. So it's kind of a catch 22.
mhm.
But I feel like that the viewers are deserving of something like that. People are deserving of being understood. That's probably why they come to Twitch. It's not necessarily that they're sitting there playing video games. They come here to have someone to talk to and be heard and understood. Um, so that's like, I struggle with it, but that's like something I want to hit home, is just trying to understand people better.
Yeah, yeah, that is, I think that is a big majority of Twitch viewers are those people that
Mhm.
just want to be understood by somebody and heard by somebody. So I think you're hitting the right spot with that, man. But congrats, Yugo. That is level 4. Great job, dude.
Woo!
Appreciate you.
Ooh, you went from fictional worlds to movies to divorce and psychological stuff. That's nuts, dude. That's nuts.
Yeah, we try, yeah, we try to get down to the meat and potatoes of things, so you really want to know. But
You're
um
pretty good at that. You're pretty good at asking the questions and steering it a very interesting way. I
well,
like it.
thanks. I appreciate that. I long time I'm a huge fan of Hot Ones, and like every single person that he interviews, I shouldn't say every single, but most of them are like, this has been so like awesome conversation, and I'm just like, I think he's so good at that, and so I want to. That's a goal one day. I want 7 levels to be on that same level of like Hot Ones. So I I try really hard to practice this, and like I said, I do my research on the people and try to make it count. So, um, but yeah, so I really appreciate that compliment. With that being
Of
said,
course.
that is the halfway point.
Whew.
That is level 4. How you feeling? You doing okay? Yeah.
Feeling good, feeling good.
Okay. Considering the last one went to divorce, this one might actually might not be as deep, but we'll see. We'll see.
Okay.
Um, what did you want to be when you were younger?
Oh, a million things. I could not make up my mind ever. Um, I guess the one that stands out the most was radio DJ.
Radio
And
DJ.
yeah,
Awesome.
radio DJ. I wanted to be a police officer for a while. I wanted to do um probably fly planes or be a firefighter or something like that. As soon as I got older, things started changing, get more realistic. But I think for sure when I was like real young, I was dead set on being a radio DJ for a long time.
Hmm. What was your DJ name gonna be?
I just Cody, like this radio up here, they don't really have like a whole lot of like flashy names. They usually just go by their first names or I don't know, Jazzy. I think the ones here are Jazzy and Danae in the morning or something like
Yeah.
that. Like dude's nickname is Jazzy, whatever. I'd probably just go by Cody. That's my real name. So
Cody in the morning. uh, well, um, here you are. You said you're 32 now. Um, what do you want to be when you get older?
content creator. So I guess this is what it always will be. Uh Thinking I was going to go so heavy into entertainment and film, it was I guess that was another tough choice to break away from. Um, but this is still in the same sort of realm, and it's got an okay realm of possibility to be a content creator.
It's
So
true.
as long as I could make it something that I could do full time, I would ride it out as long as I possibly could, because it's something that you can be self sufficient in, something that you can do, you can learn to do every step of, and you'll be in control, more or less. You'll be in control of what you put out. So, content creator.
Awesome, man. Um, what do you think little kid you would think of you and what you do now?
Oh, it's probably so cool. Like, young me was chilling in like these weird, I can't even remember, the little avatar chat rooms, because I was around before the internet came out, guys. So the internet was pretty new when I was younger, and yeah, so I used to hang out in these little like avatar chat rooms, and if I knew when I was younger that people were making videos about the video games that I play, and you just get to play them and talk and stuff. Oh, I'd be all over it. I would have loved it so much as a kid, and I would have been like, "Damn, I get to do that." So yeah, I think little me would be pretty ecstatic. It would be like, oh, you get to be a virtual DJ, in a way.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I think little kid you wanted to be a DJ because little kid you didn't know what streaming was. You know what I mean? It's like
exactly.
like it's so cool that you've landed on something that is like as home as it could be for an aspiration. Um so I've asked you the parallel of, what did you want to be when you were a kid, when you got older, and I've asked you what did you want to be um now in the future from where you are now, and then I've asked you retrospectively, what do you think you little kid you would think of you now, and positive response. Little kid you thinks you're probably awesome, which is great, because I'm not sure a whole lot of people can say that, so I think that's really cool. Um, what will it take for you currently to be proud of future you?
Oh, okay. So I'm a little kid
Yeah,
looking at myself in the future.
yeah, yeah. You get it.
Um, to be to make myself proud of my future self, I would need to be able to be earning an internet wage. Doesn't matter where exactly that all funnels from, but being able to pay my month to month just by, I don't know, ad revenue from YouTube or a sponsorship or from, not really from streaming, but like uh basically just merchandise and sponsored spots and stuff like that that all come in together to be able to not have to go to a 9 to 5 and be able to just jump onto my computer and make what I have to make for the day. That will make me proud.
I call that the streamer dream.
Right. And like a few years ago, maybe 8 or 9 years ago, I would have been proud of myself if I had, directed the next James Bond. I know that Sam Mendes was doing James Bond for a very long time, but it was around that time where they were like choosing indie directors to take over these huge franchises. And so that was like, oh, James Bond, fantastic film series, great storytelling, can get progressive over time like it has. And I would have loved to have told one of those stories. And I was like, that's the end goal. Like you're 50 years old, you've directed a James Bond something. I'm proud of you. So all the stuff kind of changes. I think at least growing growing out of that dreamy mindset, I think this is fairly attainable. If you're likable, this is fairly attainable.
Yeah, there's a whole lot of hard work. And this has come up pretty frequently on other interviews and stuff like that. Is like what it's like being on the recording end of the streaming process, and so um, likability is even a skill that can be practiced, right? Not everyone can master it. Some people have it naturally, but it can be practiced.
Mm.
And I think I just noticed you got a cat back there, a little cat.
Oh yeah, she's sleeping. Yeah, it's
Oh,
Gigi.
that's cute. Um, sorry. Anyways, distracted animals, of course. Um, but yeah, likability can be practiced, and it is a necessity. You could, if you wanted to, you could found a brand on like toxicity, but at the end of the day, that is a market that likes it for its, well, like again, they like it for its,
Mhm.
and I wouldn't recommend that, but it works for people. But
Does work for
um,
people.
so I think, I mean, I really do think that uh you are on the track to not just make little kid you proud, but even to make yourself proud. Sounds like you have your goal in mind, and you have this grinded out mindset of. I liked hearing what you said earlier about um, streaming is something that if you put the effort in, you can learn how to do each piece of it. Uh,
Yes.
and like I tweeted out the other day, like I think complacency is my biggest enemy because often I'm just like, good enough. And it's like that's like a I I think the really good streamers push past that thing. And I feel like you've expressed that that's what that's what you're gonna be, and also that's just like, yeah, your mindset about it. So that's pretty
Mhm.
awesome. I can't wait to see how far you'll go. I think you'll be
Yeah,
great.
I think that's super important is learning how to do each step of the thing. That was what we learned in film school is to learn every job on the set and how to do all that kind of stuff. So when it comes to streaming, I feel like a lot of streamers should learn how to like obviously you can outsource. That's great and all, but I think everyone should at least attempt to learn how to do their own, layouts and graphics, understanding the programs that we have to use every day, whether it be Photoshop, Premiere Pro, any of the other editing like DaVinci or OBS is like the huge one, like understanding the ins and outs of all the little pieces of OBS. I think that's like super important. And once you understand that and you practice it a million times, it's easier to jump into that grinding thought process because you know how to do the different steps. I think that just happens. I think it just happens over time. I remember for my first stream ever, I streamed my my DS. I put custom firmware on a DS. I made a layout. I made like a shiny hunting uh, recent and completing my Pokedex, getting the shiny charm kind of screen. I used one of those DSLR cameras that I found a way to make it capture before they made all the fancy new capture card stuffs. Um, I learned all that. I learned how to do all that before I even went live for my first stream, and that was 4 years ago.
Wow.
Yeah, so I really hammer it home to like anyone who is starting out or wants to learn how to do it, is just take your time with it. It'll come with time, but you need to practice all those different little steps to like just fill your brain with that knowledge, and you'll feel more comfortable um, jumping into the grinding mindset instead of just clicking go live with some of the stuff that you bought and just be live for forever and ever and ever.
Yeah. Man, that is so insightful. Um, Man, you're even giving me a whole lot of stuff to think about, Hugo. So, like, you know what? I should know how to do all of that. But, well, okay. You have a great answer. Appreciate all that conversation. That's level 5. You got
Jeez.
2 questions left. You're cruising. Can you believe we've been talking for 50 minutes? You believe that?
Oh, really? I thought we've been talking for way longer than that. Not gonna lie.
No, just 50. But I will say, you're on to 2 pretty hard questions, and level 6 is a 3-parter. So,
Oh, okay. Okay.
with follow up in between there. So we could have some. We're about to spend some time talking about some stuff. So,
All right.
but before we get into level 6, I would like to take a second to talk about our 6th level sub challenge. Guys, so far we've had incredible conversations with Yugo, and if any of you have appreciated this conversation, I want you guys to hop on over to Yugo's Twitch channel, twitch.tv/yellowyugo. Is that right? Is that where you're at?
That is correct.
And if you are the first person to hop in their stream and say, I made it to level 6, then Yugo will DM me your name, and if you are the first person to do that, I will gift you a sub to Yugo's stream, or if you already a sub, I will gift a sub to the community. So make sure you are, checking to see when he goes live, because it's first come first serve on that thing. So you want to hop in for to be the first. So Yugo, this will air on Wednesday. When do you stream on Wednesday, or do you stream on Thursday?
I will stream on Thursday, so it's gonna be it's gonna be fair game. Whoever's in stream first, for sure.
Nice. Good to know. So you guys heard it here. You guys are going to want to follow and Yugo right after this. If you're not followed Yugo, if you are followed Yugo, make sure you have your notifications on. That way you can be the first one in the stream to claim that free sub. So, but that being said, level 6. Yugo, are you ready?
Get it. Level 6.
Okay, we're gonna open up with maybe a lighter question, but it's gonna unfold itself. How would you describe yourself?
Comfortable.
Comfortable.
Comfortable. If it's one word, comfortable. I think that's, well, I mean, it takes some time, but I feel like I'm already comfortable here in this setting. Like any of those kind of like beginning nerves are already shooken away,
Mm.
and um, I just like I just feel comfortable. And I think that comes across in a lot of the stuff that I do. There's been a couple those shiny reactions out there that are just like, you didn't yell to top your lungs, you didn't freak out. It's because I'm comfortable. you know.
Did that, do you think that's how you've always been, or that's something that you had to convince yourself to be?
I had to learn how to be this way for sure. When I was younger, I was extremely self-conscious. I wanted to be cool, I wanted to be liked. Um, and so I present myself in a certain way to try and come off that way. But another thing, film school, it kind of breaks you into that. I went into film school and I was just like, I was nervous before that. I was nervous and quiet and couldn't butt into conversation ever. Um, it's kind of the same way now, but at least I choose when I burst into the conversation. Before, I had no idea when to break into any sort of conversation whatsoever. But I went to film school and I was like, hey, I don't know any of these people. I live in a different city now. This is a completely new experience, new me. Let's do it. And so I was the first one to volunteer to act. I was the first to volunteer to jump on the cameras. I was the first to volunteer for this, and this, and this. Um, and eventually I just got more comfortable with things. And so I feel like diving headfirst into things, getting rid of those initial, you know, kind of thoughts of nervousness or self-consciousness, you shake it all away right off the bat and you start to feel comfortable. So comfortable.
I am learning so much from you, Hugo. It sounds like you are saying that self-challenge brings comfortability. Like,
Yes, big time.
what a curious thought. So insightful. Okay. um, part 2. What would somebody who is close to you, how would someone who's close to you describe you?
Quiet.
Why?
I think quiet and somebody's close to me. It's tough. Like I feel like with people who are close to me now, that circle has gotten way smaller. I currently work at my family's business. My cousin has this business, and I work there with my sister, my uncle, my cousin, and my mom. We all work in the same spot. Before, I used to be a cook, and I used to be in a kitchen, and I used to be with all these other people, and I used to have a whole lot of friendships outside of that, old high school friendships. But as you get older, all those kind of things dwindle down, and so the people that know me best now are probably just like a couple of friends that I knew from the restaurant, my roommate, and my family. My family will think that I'm quiet. My roommate will think that I am hardworking and boisterous. And the people that I used to like be really close with, I don't talk to as much from the restaurant industry, would probably call me workaholic.
Hmm. Interesting.
But I guess there's a whole other faction there. People on the internet, people like that I've gotten close to on the internet.
Oh yeah.
I guess I don't know. I guess I'd have to get them to tell me what they think of me. I guess I don't know.
They can put it down in the comments. If you tell
Yeah,
us
for
what you guys
sure.
think of Hugo. Well, I mean that I think that's quite a bit of information there. So part 3, what would a stranger think about you?
Hard question to ask. I don't see many strangers anymore. Uh, Stranger like someone that's shopping across from you at the grocery store, or strangers and going to the bar and talking to some random person, or
Yeah, any of that's fine.
any. Hmm, I feel like that one's a tough one to answer too. There's probably big, scary, and quiet. I know that there was a lot of like younger people at the restaurant I used to work at. I used to think I was scary. I'm a pretty big teddy bear. I'm like I used to be all about love and I just like chilling with people. So a lot of people would say, "Oh, you're so nice. I was always so scared of you. Like, why are you scared of me?" I guess it's just what people see because I'm large, like 6'2" and like pretty heavy. I'm very
Mm.
large, so I don't know. Maybe that's just what people think of larger people. I don't know.
So, why do you think your perspective, why do you think the perspective changes the opinion? So you know yourself, your close ones know something about you, and then strangers know something about you. But why are they different?
I think it's how much of yourself you're sharing with people. Um, like I said earlier, I like the open and honest conversations. A lot of the people I met online, I think, like a lot of the close people I am with online, they'll know that we'll get into some really deep conversations and we'll say what we want to say. And um, I guess that's different from how I'll talk with my family because I know my family won't really care about some of this, the that kind of thing, and they're more into just my personal well being rather than my deeper thoughts. Um, so I think that and I would be open. I would definitely be open, and honest with them. I just don't really think that they like really, care to go that deep or not understand it as much either. So I think that it's just how much you're sharing with people changes the perspective of their opinion on you.
Which only leads me to wonder, um, are you honest with those three answers, or are you sharing enough to get me to think something?
Hmm. No, I could say that I'm completely honest with those answers for sure. That's just that is the way that I interact with all those different types of people. So I, from my perspective, that's how I think their opinion is of me. Just from, like, I guess from my own analysis, I guess
Okay.
being in my own head about it, I guess, you know, yeah, I am definitely being honest with you about that.
uh, I've learned something in the past about introspection and projection and stuff like that, and it's a tricky thing to understand, but often the thoughts that we have about others, about us, long tangent, we can't help but deny that they originate in our own thoughts. So it's like,
Mm,
I'm in this conversation with you right now, and if I sit here and wonder, what is Hugo thinking about me? It's like I all of a sudden I put up a mirror right in front of you, and I'm only actually thinking about like this thought I have. I send it to you, and then I receive it from you, but it's actually my thought. Uh,
okay.
which is, it's kind of it's weird because then all of a sudden you have to ask yourself, yeah, am I honestly, again, man, full circle, am I honestly receiving information from this person?
Yeah. You just blew my mind a little bit there. So you're teaching me things now too. That's awesome.
um, do you think you've ever projected, I guess is what you would call it?
I guess so. Yeah, definitely. I guess I could have projected that opinion of myself out to people so that they kind of get that opinion of me. I guess now that I think about it, now the way you phrased it,
Right,
maybe. But again, that's just the way that I interact with those certain people, right?
right, right.
So with like, yeah, with like my family and stuff, we don't go too deep into too many things because I just don't really think that they would care. So when I think about their opinion of me, they think that I'm just like quiet because we just don't get too deep into things. But I guess maybe that is my own perception. That's my own uh, opinion of myself that's projected off of their my perception of them. That's
It's
like
like
that.
a big loop. You
There's
just
a big loop there. That's interesting. Yeah.
yeah, I imagine there's uh healthy and unhealthy versions of that, right? So the unhealthy one would be at its core would be, what does this person think of me? Out of my brain, they think I'm bad, and so I forcefully receive. They think I'm bad, so I accept that I'm bad, so I act bad. That's like the unhealthy at its core, right? And you
Mhm,
could fill in the
mhm.
blank for bad, whether it's mean or manipulative or whatever that could be. Insert bad thing here. And I guess um the healthier way of that is like uh there's probably different at different moments you can intercept the thought, and like ask yourself, uh, is it true and is it helpful? Right? Like, is the information I'm receiving true? Uh, and if it is it helpful? um, so, uh, and I imagine you can, from the get go, you can ask yourself, you could probably like shut yourself down and be like, I don't need to perceive what they think of me. Because in this
Mhm.
moment, I need to be doing this thing, and so like the opinion doesn't matter. This thing matters, or uh, self consciousness is sometimes a distraction. but
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. Yeah.
um, in but then there's probably another time in which you can, once you receive the information that you put out anyways, you ask yourself, is it true or is it helpful? Um, um, I think, man, I think so much of content creators, and maybe you can speak to this, have
Mhm.
deal with the comparison trap and the um, outside wonder that is like, there's a new person in stream. What do they think about me? Or or um,
Well, yeah, that's definitely been a thought process to come into my brain before. Though they're new in stream, they've been here for about like 10 minutes. Are they gonna stay? Are they gonna go?
right?
What do they think of me? Do they get the vibe of what we got here? Do they understand the flow of what we're doing, or this is not their vibe?
Yeah.
So I get that. I get that.
I think it's like times 10 when it's another content creator.
Really?
Yeah. What do you think?
No, I don't. I don't think so. I think when it comes to other content creators, I in my head, I just like it's either they like you or they don't. Either they dig your vibe or they don't dig your vibe, and they'll stick around if they dig your vibe. They'll get to know you if they dig your vibe. That's I mean that's kind of like what I do. I'll surf the Twitch directory and I'll look through the Pokemon stuff, and the friends that I have now are because I dug their vibe and we got along. Um, so if there's like just another streamer that I know that they stream, that the first time meeting them, they're in my chat or something like that. I don't know if this is the right question you're asking or the answer to the right question you're asking. Um, it's either going to like me or not. It's either they're going to like what we got going on here or not.
Mm.
So I don't think about it too much. Uh, I just kind of let it go. Like meeting a streamer that's like kind of relatively of my size. They come into the chat for the first time, I'm like, oh, it's you. I think I've heard about you or something like that, and then that's it.
Mm.
At least in my head, I don't want to think about it too much if they're gonna dig my vibe or not. It's either they do or they don't.
And you're comfortable with either one.
I'm comfortable with either one, and that's honest. I feel like right. It's either they like you, they don't. They don't come back to talk to you ever again. They don't like your vibe, and I know, you know.
Hmm. Wow.
Mhm.
Well, man, that was a heck of a level 6. I appreciate that conversation, man.
I don't know if that last part was meant to be part of the level 6 or if you were just like talking about your thoughts. You wanted me to answer it. I
Oh
don't
yeah,
know.
yeah. We're just spitballing here at that point, and
Okay.
I'm just so
Okay.
curious. You're a good person to talk to, so I've enjoyed it. And so you make it easy to just keep talking. So, uh, but here we are, the last level. Yugo, this is our season 1 question. It's reoccurring in all the videos, and I don't even know how long season one will run for before but for now, this is the question that everyone else has answered. And it is, um what is something in the world that you wish you could change, but you aren't sure that you have the power to?
Hmm. You know, and I've heard you ask this question several times. I didn't think that was going to be reoccurring, and I think that is such. I've already said this a million times now in this conversation. It's such a hard question to answer. There's so many things in the world that need changing, and I think it's up to certain people to be able to step up to help change those things. What am I capable of changing, or what? No. What would I want to change, but I don't think I have the capability of changing? Hmm. When you get into a conversation with someone, I know this is probably like it's very personal compared to being like, oh, I'd like to change world hunger and with people not getting vaccinated, blah blah whatever. But like, so in a conversation with somebody, so many people in the world that just don't see the other side.
Mm.
Even if they're completely different from your opinion, they're completely in your head, they're wrong. But you can't, like, people just don't drop that. Like, uh, I will see both sides of the conversation. I'll see both sides of an argument. I'll see both sides of what we're talking about, and I'll understand how you feel and how you feel is valid, even if it's something I don't agree with, even something I don't believe in. Um, but I don't think people afford me or anyone. There's a lot of people out there that don't experience this, that people don't afford that back to somebody else. It's like, oh, my opinion is my opinion, and you're not valid. Your reason, your thought process, your reasoning, all that stuff is not valid. So taking people, what's the right word? Not for granted, for giving people the benefit of the doubt. I think, like, I'd love for people to just be able to see both sides of conversation, of argument, of a story, and understand why the other person is feeling that, thinking that, and just be able to accept it, and then keep their own opinions and thoughts.
Hmm.
I fight with that a lot on stream and stuff like that. Someone will come in and say their opinion on something. I'm like,
Oh yeah.
I understand you and I hear you, and it's valid. Do you understand my excitement for the other reasoning, or the other side of it, the opposing side of it? Do you understand why I'm excited about it, or why I think it this way, or they're just like, nope, this sucks, this, and then I feel completely invalidated,
Mhm.
right? I would like to change that in the world. I don't think I'd be able to change that in the world as much as I will preach it on my stream. Be like, hey, are you listening to what I'm saying, and do you hear my words, and are they valid? Even if I'll stare at the camera and tell people that they don't afford me that, I would love to chase that in the world.
Mm.
Probably solve a lot more arguments, and um, yeah, yeah,
Or
that's
at
what I would do.
least prevent the recoil of a fight, right?
Yeah,
Like
well,
I think that would be like the crazy thing is like, hey, what if there was no altercation because of a disagreement? Like is what you know what I mean? Like,
for sure. I'm so terrified of confrontation. Like, I do not like confrontation. Sometimes confrontation will determine whether or not your relationship with the person works. Relationship with, as in like a friendship or an acquaintanceship or whatever. That conflict could determine whether or not that continues, or whether or not you feel a certain way about a person. Um, but I'm so terrified of confrontation.
mm.
And that would alleviate a lot of, I feel like, a lot of confrontation.
Yeah.
Not to say that confrontation isn't bad, or like talking about each other's opinions isn't bad. It's just when they don't see the other side.
Hmm. I think that is a great one, and that's unique. It's funny. A lot of the ones that have been expressed, a lot of the answers that have been expressed for this so far, have to do with some level of human decency. Typically, like one answer was really good because it had to do with human care, like people aren't cared for enough, which I guess in a weird level is still human decency.
Mhm.
And But this was a really unique take on it. Good thought.
I
And
guess it's also human decency as well. Like,
yeah, yeah.
just yeah.
But Hugo, congrats. That's the 7th level, and I love that
Hey,
answer, and I love this conversation, man. Congrats. How you feeling? You do it. You made
I
it.
I feel great. That the last one felt like one of the easier ones to talk about. So yeah,
Yeah,
feel good, feel comfortable.
good. You feel comfortable. That's what I'm taking away
Yeah.
from this thing. Hugo is comfortable. Well, Hugo, I just want to give you a second to talk about what you got coming on up in your stream life and your content. I mean, you're on TikTok, you're on YouTube, you're on Twitch. Where can we find you, and what are you doing?
All right, so you can find me at twitch.tv/yellowyugo for some shiny hunting. You can go over to my YouTube channel where you can see me do like some of those nice slow burn playthrough, Nuzlocke, just regular vanilla playthroughs of certain games. Um,
And guides.
TikTok for the shiny reactions, and the main big one, I guess, would be we're getting super close to YouTube partnership. We're getting pretty close to YouTube partnership. We're a couple subscribers away, so if you want to go hit the sub button, if you like kind of like what I'm talking about now, maybe you'll like it over there too. And for New Year's Eve, I know there's a lot of people on the internet that we've met probably aren't going to do anything for New Year's Eve. I guess also it's COVID. You're not going to be going to the bar, not going to be going to see family or doing whatever. New Year's Eve, we're doing a sleep walk live on Twitch. So it's a variant of a Pokemon playthrough, all done in one sitting. So I'm going to try and do the challenge run all in one sitting. We do about 2 sleep walks a year. So New Year's Eve is when we'll be doing a sleep walk.
Awesome, man. Well, dude, again, thank you so much for coming on stream. Like I said, you were one of the first people that I've interviewed that I didn't really know, and so I really appreciate you taking the shot at this and seeing if it's something you would like or not. And I'm glad, and I think we've had a great conversation today, and that is the goal.
Agreed.
And I learned a lot from you, man. So I appreciate that. And so all we have left is saying bye to YouTube. So with that being said, goodbye, everybody.